From the broadcasting station of Lagos Television across the world and wherever you are watching us, we again want to thank you for joining us on another time out together, taking a critical evaluation, of course, analysis on that which we've been doing as a series on this program, Land Policy and Administration in Lagos State, where people have been asking a lot of questions from our series of discussion with a special advisor on AGIS, Dr. Babatunde Olajide, that has to do with understanding how this is working in the state, to the Permanent Secretary Lands Bureau, the very bureau we keep saying that, in the person of Mr. Olusegun, to where we are today, wanting to have another time out with the Permanent Secretary, Surveyor General, Lagos State, in the person of Surveyor General Ayokunu Sikiru Adesina, MNIS. And today we'll be looking at the collaboration of the synergy connecting the Lands Bureau, the Office of the Special Advisor on AGIS and Urban Development, and the Surveyor General's Office. What is the connect between all of this narrative in their collaboration to ensure the land matters in the state and administration in the state is in line with the way it should be in policy matters, implementation, to, of course, the administration of how this should ease the way of doing business in land matters in the state to where we are today. Our issues will be discussing with our guest today, Surveyor General Ayokunu Sikiru Adesina, MNIS. I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back after this time out. The Surveyor General, sir, it is a great honor to have you as a guest again today, looking at the series of what we've been doing to where we are having this interface engagement interview with you on wanting to understand more how the policy of Mr. Governor on land administration, and of course that has to do with policy of the state government on lands concerned, is being effectively implemented in line with the vision, the mission and core values of what this should be, translating to service, effective service delivery to the good people of Lagos State. So for you, when we say this concerning your office, what should people know and what should they understand about the importance, the significance of the office of the Surveyor General in Lagos State?
Thank you once again for having me on your show. The Office of the State Surveyor General is the official surveyor to the Lagos State government. Let me talk about mandate. That is a major mandate that the office has. And so, concerning the subject matter, land administration, the surveyor is very key in land.
The surveyor is very key
in land administration.
In land administration matters in the state.
In the state.
Interesting to know.
And so, because the Office of the State Surveyor General is the official surveyor to Lagos State government, the importance cannot be overemphasized.
Absolutely.
Apart from being the official surveyor to Lagos State government, one other major mandate that the office has is provision of advisory on land matters.
When you see the position of advisory
provision of advisory,
yes, on land matters,
on parcel status matters,
on parcel status, how should we understand that, or how would the ordinary citizen watching or the Goshen ward watching this program understand what you're trying to say?
Okay, so the tenure system of the state is such that, according to the provision of the Land Use Act, which confers on the governor the power to carry out administration on land within the state, the governor, in the exercise of that power, as the custodian of land within the state, can decide to carry out such activities as acquiring land for various government projects.
For various government projects. Okay.
And so the tenurial system is such that certain parcels of land they fall under the category of either acquisition or revocation, while certain other parcels fall under the category of estate in fee simple, that you can call parcels that are free from any government acquisition. And so the parcel status becomes very critical in a state like Lagos State. And this is very key for those wishing to invest on any land parcel in real estate generally.
In real estate business generally?
Generally. So the status of every parcel in the state becomes the primary assignment of the Surveyor General. The dissemination of information about parcel status becomes the responsibility of the Surveyor General. Why is it so? Because he is the custodian of all geospatial, because he is the one that acquires data, geospatial data, on every land parcel within the state.
Within the states.
And so he is able to disseminate information about the status of parcel
in the states.
In the state, whether those that belongs within a government acquisition or revocation, or those that are free from any government acquisition.
Let us take it from this analysis you've given here. I love the choice of word: acquisition, revocation, the status of these parcels of land we are talking about. Now, when it has to do with acquisition, what should people understand concerning the choice of that word acquisition as against the choice of word revocation in the administration of your duties and mandate as a Surveyor General?
Before 1978, there was the Public Land Acquisition Act. And so any interest that exists on parcels of land that has been taken out by owners fall under that category.
Falls under that category?
Fall under that category. Meaning that those parcels of land that were required for public use or overriding public interest, as it is said, would have been acquired. But with the coming into being of the Land Use Act of 1978, any existing right on any parcel that is required for overriding public interest can then be revoked. And that gives rise to
the overriding of public interest can be revoked.
So that is the difference between acquisition against revocation. So revocation came into being after the Land Use Act of 1978. So to that extent, the parcels that fall within these different categories are spelled out because the data which had been captured by the Surveyor General and processed have been mapped.
Has been mapped.
And so the Surveyor General draws information from the map of the entire state, which is domiciled in his office. And so that is a brief on that.
Okay, I think this is really informing and highly educating, giving this insight into the importance of how the Office of the Surveyor General is keying into the policy administration, the implementation of the policy administration of the state government, as it were. I'm so proud to say that what you've said gives a reference into what some people are saying out there, that they are ignorant of some of these things that they need to know but are not privileged to know. But because you have said this, how do you connect, for example, with the Lands Bureau's office? And of course, what is your connect by furtherance of analyzing all of your connection in the synergy of collaboration with other agencies of government, with the Office of the Special Advisor on EGIS and Urban Development? What is the underlying relationship that binds you, your office, their office, and that of the SA together?
Thank you very much. The Lands Bureau, as it is structured, is the agency of government that has mandate for land administration in the state. And so the Office of the State Surveyor General, being the official surveyor to government.
To the government.
To the government.
That's right.
Also discharges or performs that function of the surveyor to Lands Bureau. Now, I give you an instance. As a major activity of the Lands Bureau is land allocation. The Lands Bureau has about 3 or 4 departments. We have the Directorate of Land Services. We have the Land Use and Allocation Committee. We have the Estate Department. But the one I want to narrow down to is the Land Use and Allocation Committee. That committee is saddled with the responsibility of allocating lands to allottees of government.
To allottees of government.
Of government.
Not to any other, but allottees of government.
Allottees of government.
Okay.
At the back end is the creation of schemes. You know, before you can allocate, you need to create the scheme.
Absolutely.
So schemes are created, parcel is identified, the scheme is created, and then a layout is, all those technical activities are conducted, and so we have an estate to ensure that development is patterned in conformity with what obtains all over the world.
I love that word again. Development is patterned with what obtains in the global trend of today's setting.
Exactly.
And how's Lagos State doing? How are we faring in that connect, judging by what you've been doing this far?
We are doing excellently well. As at date, we have several schemes across the state to ensure that development is controlled and patterned. For instance, we can go on and mention. We have the Victoria Island scheme. It's a very old scheme. We have the Lekki scheme. We have Ogudu scheme, Magodo, Ikeja GRA. And if you go into the mainland, we have Okoba scheme, Ayobo. We have on the island, we have after Lekki scheme, we have Lekki Phase 1 and Lekki Phase 2. And so these are schemes of government that when you get into those AGs or into those estates, you could see controlled development that obtains, what obtains in those estates is what is obtainable in any part of the world.
By standard.
By standard. So coming back to the work of the Office of the State Surveyor General, it is the Surveyor General's office that receives requests from Lands Bureau after allocation of land to prepare survey plan, which is a critical document in the issuance of title. By the provision of the Land Use Act of 1978, the holder of an allocation on any parcel of land must be issued a certificate of occupancy to show his holding. And so, as a critical annexation
That's right.
to the certificate of occupancy is the survey plan, which shows so many other information, amongst which is the size of land, the geometry of the land, and so many other things. So what has been allocated to you by government will be shown on the survey plan. And so it is the Surveyor General's office that prepares the survey plan. So that's a major activity that is conducted by the Surveyor General as a service that is rendered to the client through the Lands Bureau.
Sincerely, if you ask me, I can feel the sense of your commitment and, of course, the enormity of the task given to you as a mandate. But I want to quote you here. You said that you were rather emphasizing the point of reckoning here, that the need for continuous synergy between your office and the Land Use Allocation Committee to enhance efficient service delivery in land and survey matters is very key.
Correct.
But a lot of people out there do not understand that you don't work in isolation, that you work in connection, in synergy with others to achieve the goal. But how should they understand that it's not just being a Surveyor General that is the matter, but how you execute, you implement for the good of them out there to be able to access affordable housing schemes for their own convenience and comfort. It's more of a responsibility that you are tasked with that they don't understand. How would you let them understand the enormity of this?
It is in realization of the enormity of land transactions that are conducted in the state that the state embarked on a revolutionary land administration system.
Revolutionary land administration system. That is loaded.
I break it down. Before now, all land transactions in the state are conducted in the analog environment. At the inception of this office, all survey plans prepared from 1967 up until sometime in the late 1990s were prepared in the analog domain. However, with the increment in land transactions, with the coming of the present civilian dispensation, there was need to up the game in tandem with technological developments all over the world. And Lagos is always coming first, of course, in the country.
Absolutely.
So, a digital land administration system was embarked upon, which led to the development of the popular Momentum solution, which has a digital, all the paraphernalia of a digital appearance. For this office, all our analog survey plans were converted into the digital. And with the coming of that solution,
it eased the problems.
Eased a lot of problems. And so it connected the Office of the State Surveyor General and the Lands Bureau together. The solution was developed to ease our interface, engagement, to ensure that not only are our business processes effective, but also efficient, so that we can deliver on time on all our activities. Because the end result,
that's right,
as I said earlier on, of any land allocation is the issuance of title. Right. And of course, any parcel of land that doesn't have a title is a dead asset.
Any title of land.
Any parcel of land
that does not have a title.
It's a dead asset.
It's a dead asset.
It is.
How do we explain that more?
I give you an instance. If a transaction is to be conducted on any parcel of land or any property, what the buyer requires of the seller is the evidence of ownership.
Absolutely.
Not the physical parcel of land or the physical property. And the evidence is as spelled out by the document that is known as the certificate of occupancy for the first transaction, or evidence that Mr. Governor has granted consent to a transaction in the case of a subsequent transaction. And so these documents that I mentioned, they are that are regarded as title. So if you don't have a title to your parcel of land, it is like
that
you don't have
the ownership.
That gives you the ownership. Legally. It's like you don't have anything.
Okay, if we look at this importance of this impact of your duties, we understand that since you came on board, the patronage of the public to your office has not only increased, but of the fact you have been more than taxed in meeting the demands of the public. What really is their concern? Why, for this patronage, what do you offer them that gives them such confidence to say that when they come to your office, it gives them that joy or that meaning of essence to say that yes, we're in the right path in doing good business with the government? Is that what it is?
Exactly, that is what it is. As I said earlier on, since we have taken our operation to the digital domain, about 95% of our business processes are conducted also in similar fashion. Online. And so almost all our products and services have been refined. Not only do we have state-of-the-art equipment for data capture, data processing, and preparation of plan.
Data processing, and capturing of land,
and preparation of survey plans.
Okay.
As I need you to know that in Lagos State today, survey plans are prepared electronically.
As against what it used to be
in the analog domain, which is the popular e-survey. Of course, I said with the revolutionary land administration system came the issuance of CFO also electronically. So it stands to reason that an electronic CFO must of course carry an electronic survey plan. So e-survey is a game changer.
The e-survey is a game changer.
It is a game changer.
In the ease of doing business.
Exactly.
With the state government.
I tell you, data is captured, transmitted even on real time. We have established across the state continuously operating reference station, the popular call station. We have 5 established across the state that the office made use of in data capture in real time. So from data capture to data processing and preparation of plan, time is shortened, taking advantage of technology. And so this is one of the pluses for the office in our plan preparation. Not only are the plans prepared reliable and the integrity preserved, but it is refined.
It is refined.
It is refined. That is one.
In line with the digital age of today.
Exactly. Don't forget that all this is as encapsulated in the Teams Plus agenda of Mr. Governor.
Okay.
The Lands Bureau, Office of the State Surveyor General, are structured under the M pillar, making Lagos a 21st century economy. All these that we are chronicling are the yardsticks to measure how a 21st century economy should look like.
I kept picture this here. Part of what you do as a mandate, Surveyor General, sir, is development control. Here we're talking about the necessity of your office mandate in monitoring of unauthorized development within government estates, which you have just referenced not too long in our discussion in liaison with Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. How does this work?
Thank you very much. Now, I said the Office of the State Surveyor General is the custodian of all geospatial data in the state.
Absolutely.
Now, the geospatial data that we talk about, that's the primary data. Whereas there are secondary data that must overlay on the primary data. The Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development takes the primary data and puts their own secondary data on it. And what is that? That is the master plan of the entire state. So they have included in the master plan different other plans, regional plans, area plans, and all that for effective planning in the state. Once they have concluded
effective planning in the state, does that account to why Lagos has expanded in terms of development? Because I had cause to go to Ipaja area, this area of Besan Estate area, and to our amazement, the expansion of development of schemes in those areas, it's not really surprising, but really amazing to see estates here and there. Is that part of what connects with what we're saying?
Exactly. As far back as the Jakonde, past Governor Jakonde era, there is no rural setting, no rural area in Lagos State. The whole state is urbanized. And that's what accounts for what you see in those corridors that you just mentioned.
Dotted all around the entire northeast, west, south of Lagos.
Of the entire state. Development is on a daily basis.
But how easy are you finding this task to do? Minus this which you've just said, the digitization availability that has been installed, or to give us global presence in line with global best practices. Would you say it has been easy, really, executing, implementing all of these responsibilities that you've been assigned with?
Yeah, I would say it is, because not only do we have state-of-the-art equipment, we have capable staff, officers,
capable staff, competent staff, well-trained staff.
Well-trained, capacity have been developed. In fact, as one of the major modules of the land administration system, with the deployment of technology must come capacity building.
With the development of technology must come capacity building.
Exactly.
How do you mean?
What I mean is, as you acquire digital infrastructure, you must also ensure that you build the capacity of those that will man and operate the infrastructure. Only recently, the Office of the State Surveyor General took delivery of not less than 75 to 100 computer systems of different grades and accessories. And we also our officers took part in different training programs, capacity building, to ensure that they deliver on the mandate, of the office. So the work has been very interesting because we have officers who know their beat and their capacity have been properly developed. And it's capacity building is a continuous exercise in the office across the state, I dare say.
How do you now address the concern of the public who still have complaints in the face of all of these responsibilities of what you are doing, and yet they have complaints out there that they are not satisfied still with the service delivery. What will be your response to such a comment from the public? Because it's part of what we heard. They said we are not there yet, and I said that can't be what you're saying. From what we have as our data, what we have as the availability of records of information that you've been doing with, you've been taxed with, there shouldn't be any cause for complaint for any reason, but yet we still have that. How do you address such complaints of saying no, we're not there yet? Would you agree with that statement?
I said even the deployment of technology to land administration in the state is a product of data. In the state today, the population is 20 million plus, and we are still counting.
Yes, we are still counting.
And so it's a plus for us. So we are happy that people are coming into Lagos State, but we must ensure that we prepare for them. The volume of land transactions that we were contending with 5-10 years ago is not the same as now.
As now.
But you know what? Our people are not conversant or happy when they come to queue.
When it comes to doing the right thing, the way it should be done, for ease of the job to be delivered the way it should be done effectively. Well.
Exactly. When people come to queue, they don't like it. The individual who comes last wants to obtain result first. But we are trying our best. The volume is huge, but the office is up to the task. So I will employ them and implore them to be patient so that the office can better serve them.
Let me take you outside the scope of some of your mandate here, which is in the establishment of new towns and schemes for development in the states. Some land, how do we put it? Some will say that government incursion into their land at times gives them a concern, maybe in compensation or maybe in depriving them of what is their right. But I have always advocated this advocacy that you have just said it, for the overriding interest of our public interest. Governments can take certain action if it has to do with providing or an overriding public interest concern.
Exactly.
And they should understand that, but they choose not to want to understand that. And it becomes your duty or responsibility to say that, look, whether they like it or not, you must do what should be done by the mandate of your office. How do we explain such concern to those public who are not understanding this narrative?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As a young boy, while growing up, it usually crossed my mind, who owns the parcel of land on which National Stadium is built? Which family owns the parcel of land on which Ikeja General Hospital is built? So anytime you find yourself in the Ikeja General Hospital, have you stopped to wonder whether this land used to belong to a particular family? If that family did not yield that land for that important project, will you be able to be serviced there? This is exactly what it means when you say a parcel of land or a space is acquired or interest that exists is revoked by government for overriding public interest. The overriding of that public interest, that interest that is being referred to includes that of yours and that of that individual that is complaining. So our appeal is going to be for them to believe in government.
To believe in government.
This government, under the able leadership of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, is trying its best in terms of compensation. This is not a government that will not take into consideration people's rights.
Yeah, but Mr. Permanent Secretary was so concerned when this issue of compensation came up for discuss. We realized that people go to get this compensation, they don't come back to tell the public that they've gotten compensation. And Mr. Permanent Secretary was of the concern that he told Mr. Governor, at this point, there is the need at any point you are paying compensation in millions or billions to people. Let it be seen that the public know that this has been done, so that excuses or complaints they give may not hold water in the interest of the general public to understand that government is doing its part in doing this. And for you, I'm happy you have cited this, but when will all of this be seen that government is doing something in compensating, not only compensating, but doing the right thing to make people know that they have fulfilled their own promise? What step are you taking with the government to showcase that truly government means well in what they do and have been doing this for the good of everybody, collectively for that matter?
This government has been very transparent in terms of information dissemination. Of course, people take advantage of the Freedom of Information Act to retrieve information. This is a government that has proper records. As it concerns compensation, I'm aware that there is a unit in the Lands Bureau called the Acquisition, Revocation and Compensation Unit. They have records. So people who are desirous of obtaining such information can visit their online portal to obtain information. But beyond that, I align myself with the thought of the Permanent Secretary Lands, that in the world that we are in today, there is need for, there's a proverb in my place. It says, when you are cracking a nut.
When you're cracking a nut.
When you're cracking a nut for a blind man, it is better for you to whistle, so that the blind man will know that you are not eating part of his nut. So in the world that we are in today,
that's right.
I say that in Yoruba.
Yes.
For our listeners who can understand proverb. I'm a very proverbial man. So I will align my thought with that of the Permanent Secretary Lands, that if it becomes necessary in the world that we are in today, whenever compensation is being paid, that it can be made public.
All right, for those who say they don't really understand the services you provide to Lagosians, aside the mandate of your responsibilities, but that which your office really do in line with your respective units, can you please just express it again for them to understand that this is what you do when they come here for whatever services?
We have several products and services that this office offers. For instance, as I said, the major one is the parcel status report, and it presents itself in various forms. For instance, for those owners or holders of parcels or properties wishing to obtain title, there is the Land Information Certificate. It's a very popular one.
Land Information Certificate.
It's a very popular document that is required by other issuance authority like the Lands Bureau. It's an advisory that advises the Lands Bureau before title is issued. It also helps to guide Lands Bureau the type of title to be issued. Whether a parcel of land is residential, is zoned for agricultural, is zoned for commercial or industrial.
That's right.
It's a very key document.
So that we do not violate what it is meant to be.
Exactly. For would-be investors, we also commenced a service that advises them to look before they leap.
For would-be investors?
Would-be investors. So if you are a would-be investor in this state, it is good for you to approach the Office of the State Surveyor General to obtain an advisory on a parcel of land that you wish to invest on. Whether that parcel of land, as I said, concerning the tenure system,
absolutely,
whether it is free from any non-government acquisition or it is free. And if it is within any government acquisition, what is it can be done? What are the pathways to obtaining title?
That's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
a look before you leap.
Look before you leap, indeed. I quite agree with you.
That is one. For the Directorate of Petroleum Resources, DPR, this office provides a major service in the grant of a document that is called no objection.
No objection.
Or a permit to survey of oil for
exploration,
for laying of oil pipelines and gas lines. We also act as an expert witness to the judiciary.
Can you expatiate more on that?
The Office of the State Surveyor General is relied on for advisory where there are litigants on any parcel of land.
Any litigation?
In any litigation.
That's right.
That is before a competent court of jurisdiction. Whenever a judge is to decide whether a parcel of land belongs to A or B, this office provides a service or prepares a document or a product that is called a composite plan. It's a relational document or data or map, as it is, of two or more different survey plans to assist the judge in determination of the case. We also offer our services to the security agencies in matters of fraud or determination of, the EFCC approaches the Surveyor General for advice, the Nigerian Police Force, and other security agencies. The reason is this: the Surveyor General, as one other mandate, is wearing two caps. On one hand, he is the surveyor to the Lagos State, to the government. On the other hand, he is the chairman of the Second State Ethics Committee. And by statute of the Surveyor Council of Nigeria,
that's right,
all survey activities undertaken in the state, the record of those activities must be lodged with the Surveyor General. That is a popular record copy. So, survey activities that have been undertaken in this state since the 1800s are domiciled in the archives of the Surveyor General. We have a record copy of survey plan prepared by Herbert Macaulay, one of the earliest surveyors in this record. We have well over 700,000 records in the archives of the Surveyor General that have been converted to digital under the exercise that I mentioned earlier.
The digitization process.
Exactly. So that at the press of a button, you can retrieve information concerning those records.
That's right.
So the Surveyor General acts as a repository.
That's right.
Of all the records of all survey activities that is undertaken in the state. So to that extent, the Surveyor General makes it available whenever it is required for any of these other activities, whether to assist the judge in determination of a case, of who owns what, when it was launched. For instance, the EFCC is interested in whether the survey plan that has been brought before them in the matter that they are considering is genuine
or otherwise.
Otherwise. It is the Surveyor General that has custody of that information.
Your task is indeed, to me, challenging and really, really tasking, if you ask me, with all of these analysis. And I must commend you, sir, that it means it's not just anyone that can be a Surveyor General, sir, if you ask me. But let's look at the fact that in all of this, you must be above board. And we thank God that so far, we can pride ourselves that Lagos State, via your office, has lived up to that expectation of reckoning in the face of international community who sees Lagos as a reference in whatever to do. But let's come down to earth that plus minus in all of this permutation, calculation, arrangement, equation of your duties, responsibilities, there is still the need for you to still do what you must do. I want to ask you a very stupid question if you'll ask me. Do you really find it easy and really have the time for yourself in the course of doing all of this job? Just by diversion of what we're talking about.
I relate and socialize. I find time to relax and enjoy myself in the midst of the tight schedule. Because, as it is said, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I'm not dull. I find time to relax, and over time, I've managed to strike a balance between my work and my social life. I'm also a very good family man.
In all of this?
In all of this, I don't joke with my family. Incidentally, my wife is also a civil servant, so she understands
the nitty-gritty and the demands of the job of the office.
Of the job of the office.
All right, let's take a short break here. We'll be right back shortly now with you. Let's leave it where we just queued out. We'll come back to just finalize issues of this concern.
Thank you.
So we'll take another break shortly. I'll be right back now. Welcome back, and it's so good to have you. And if you are just joining us, my guest today is a very special guest, if you ask me. The Permanent Secretary, Surveyor General in Lagos State, Surveyor General's office in Lagos State, in the person of Surveyor General Ayokunu. You can see I'm taking my time to say the word Ayokunu Sikiru Additional MNIS. Suffice to say that it's not really easy to be on that seat as a Surveyor General of the state. But we must get the job done, and he's doing the job. And of course, let's start again from where we stopped. Let us look at, you said something in the course of your commitment to work. You said, it is, how do I best express it? That it is important, or let me take it from this angle, that the Land Use Allocation Committee, it's a very, very important partner in the collaboration of your business. And that you said is one of our major internal clients that have to be supported for excellent service towards enhancing our service delivery to the general public. What are you trying to say through that?
What I mean is the Land Use and Allocation Committee to the Office of the State Surveyor General is a client representative. Now, the client in this matter is the allottee of state land. A major activity of that committee is the allocation of parcels of land in schemes that have been created. And at the base is revenue generation. You know, this state prides itself as the 5th largest economy in Africa. And so revenue generation is a very key. Land is not cheap in this state.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not. It is not.
So once parcel is allocated, it becomes the immediate duty of the Surveyor General to prepare survey plan so that the allottee can be granted or issued the title document, which is the certificate of occupancy. And so it's a symbiotic relationship between the Land Use and Allocation Committee in Lands Bureau and the Office of the State Surveyor General. And the relationship has been further enhanced by the deployment of technology.
That's right.
As I said, once the survey plan is prepared, on a parcel of land, it is prepared electronically. It drops into what is called a content server. So the Surveyor General endorses electronically, the survey plan is transmitted electronically, and the CFO is also issued electronically, which is why I said that relationship is not only exciting, but very interesting.
Not only exciting, but indeed very interesting.
Very interesting.
You also said there is, Surveyor General, sir, that the clientele of your office is growing by day, and of course maintain the fact that the digital technology has played an important role in the ease of how you transact business with the public.
Correct.
In creating access to information required by the public for the good of the collective good of everybody.
Correct.
Does that make you happy when you said that?
Correct. I'm very happy. Anytime a client visits the office or procures any of our products or services, and they are happy because it's done on time, then my day is made.
Your day is made.
Yeah, I tell my officers, my colleagues as I refer to them, that the Office of the State Surveyor General is a business office where we conduct the business of government.
A business office
Where we
conduct
the business
of government
on a daily basis.
on a daily basis.
It's also one of the very key revenue generating agencies of government. So we position ourselves to ensure that not only our clients have effective service delivery, but a very efficient one. And we want to ensure that they will always want to come back, or they want to spread the gospel. So if you come in here, you can be sure that you will be better served and your problem will be solved, if you call it problem. Whatever product or service that you have come to procure will be top-notch. And so I'm happy when we are improving on our services.
You're improving on your services.
On your services. Because our service level agreement with our customers, our clients, we are inching towards shortening the timeline in delivery every now and then. So because a surveyor must have integrity, must not only be honest, but must have integrity.
Must have integrity.
You must have your integrity.
And not just to be honest.
Not only be honest,
must have integrity.
You must have integrity. And so this office, because the surveyor must be accurate.
The surveyor must be accurate.
In all matters.
In all matters.
Exactly. Especially in the measurement, in the dimensional.
Why must you be accurate in all of what you do?
You cannot call 4.55.
You cannot call 4.5.
4.99 is different from 5.
Absolutely.
To the minutest detail, the surveyor must be detailed. Some other measurement experts or others in the built industry, they deal with a lot of approximations. But for the surveyor,
no approximation.
You have to be, we are almost all the time talking about the most probable value.
The most?
The most probable value.
Probable value. Oh, I got that.
So you are near, all our survey plans or maps, they have their different scales. And at the back end of those scales are accuracies.
Accuracies. I must let you go, Surveyor General, sir. What will be your parting words? What will be the message you want to pass across? Or what indeed is your concern? That's a word you want to leave us with as a parting shot.
I want to implore Lagosians to continue to have implicit confidence in government, especially the government of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu in the provision of effective land administration in the state, and closely to believe that the Office of the State Surveyor General will better service them in all their matters.
We thank you so very much for this time with you, and we'll always come back again to further discussion based on information that we have, and of course, keeping the trends, updating Lagosians as to what they should do and what they should understand the more in the discharge of your mandate and responsibility as a Surveyor Permanent Secretary, Surveyor General, Office of the Surveyor General. We must thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's just another time out again today. Still taking a look on the issue of land administration and policy matters in Lagos State. Well, it's still part of our series which will continue, and we'll always bring you recent issues, recent updates on your concern as part of what you need to know and what you should also do on your side, so that the collaboration of you on that side, the government on the other side, must be seen as bonded for the collective good of everyone in the state. We'll see you again same time next week. We thank you for today, and until then we'll say thank you, and thank you indeed for staying with us.